There's certain degrees and levels in drone shows. It starts basically with the slideshow, and then it goes with the 3D modeling, and then the transitioning comes in and whatever. We're still talking about just drones. I think where it all came together is where you can see that projection mapping on a building, lasers, pyro, lighting, and an important one, sound, all came together as one show. And I think that's where you make the difference. The real difference.
The drones are also an extension for us, where we use elements like laser, pyrotechnics, SFX, stage design, set design, show creation. Drones are an extra one for us.
The first question came from Sander Reneman. So can you make a storyboard for some company that's making drone shows? So again, I'd never seen a drone show before. We make some sketches and we're pretty happy about it. Well, we can also visualize it 3D and show them how it's possible in transitions, for example. And at that point they asked us, well, is it also possible to export it immediately to drones? A guy, Sander de Braak, he already knew. Within 1.5 weeks, he said, well, I wrote an exporter and we can export it to their software and they can use it, I think. So he made an export and suddenly we can make drone shows. So we're both thinking, well, that's cool.
So a lot of drone shows are made sequentially. We have a logo, we have an image, we have a car. We'll just put it on a timeline, 15 seconds for the logo, transition, do some sparkling. Then we see the car, sparkling, and the drones move in the next position. So you have like this really weird pace of 15 seconds imagery, 20 seconds nothing, or sparkling. That's absolutely not what we're doing. We have created several new technologies in which we can combine animations not sequentially but concurrent, in which we actually have a car that is driving, and while it's driving, it's converting into a tornado, for instance.
Drones, you can jump cut between scenes, but I tend to say that you don't have to and you don't want to do this. And that makes it really different if you compare it with video. This is something really physical in the sky, not something video.
Between a photo book and the first movies, which are actually a fast representation of photos, making a smoother and complete story. That is something no one else does in the world. And for instance, for Burning Man, we created a show where a flock of birds was like the main base, and all the time certain animals would just pop out of that flock, and that flock would continue. So for instance, you'll see a flock and suddenly you'll see a wolf or you'll see an elephant, and that way of creating shows, that's something uniquely to us.
It's relatively new for people to see drone shows because a lot of people haven't seen it yet, so mostly haven't seen on, for example, YouTube, and it's a perfect way of creating art in the sky.
Yeah, it's a new medium to tell a story or to set a message. So it actually is sort of new art medium. You need a different language. 900 drones sounds like a lot of drones, but if you put it in a grid, for example, to compare it with, for example, pixel art, then it's 30 by 30, and that's actually a really low resolution to tell your story. What we try to do always is to see it as sort of dance choreo. The scene itself is important, but it's more the transition between the scenes that are important.
It's one storyline with no gaps in it. So we have a constant pace of things moving, transitioning, but also the transitions are part of the storyline, and they're also animated, and they are also part of the whole, instead of having a scene, and then a transition and a scene. We actually regularly do some test shows. There's no audience, there's no one involved. It's just on a small airfield somewhere. It's not announced. And just, try things. It doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to, it doesn't have to be optimal or something. And we're really pushing the limits there. But it helps a lot because sometimes we create things that are really overwhelming, and sometimes we create something and everyone is like, "What is this? What are we looking at?" But that way we gain more and more experience, things we can bring back to the real world and incorporate in shows if it fits.
For example, for Formula One, we did a launch event in Vegas. So there where we brought all the disciplines into one sort of art piece. I think the important is that it's really an extension of what we have been doing the last 16 years.
The F1 opening show in November, I think, shows really where you can go with those shows. What we love best is where we get complete freedom to do whatever we want, and sometimes we do, and that's kind of where we're like, yes, this is the shit. This is what we want to see. Obviously, the client pays, so that doesn't happen all the time.
This process of explaining to the client, well, I understand you want the sequence in this way, maybe we have to do it in a different way. So it's easier to make it for the drones, but you also get a more fluent show.
Step away from that logo, the slideshow that you're asking for. Give us the creative freedom to use your elements, the elements that you think are important, and have us create this show instead of you dictating us. And that's where magic happens, when we get that freedom.